Now, the IFP, ANC, DA and NFP coalition has emerged victorious in KwaZulu-Natal. The IFP's Thami Ntuli has been elected Premier. Let's speak now to ActionSA KwaZulu-Natal leader Zwakele Mncwango for more. Good afternoon, Mr. Mncwango. A pleasure to have you on the program this afternoon. So Thami Ntuli, as mentioned, has been elected as KwaZulu-Natal's new Premier. What do you think were the key factors that have probably led to his election? And how do you see this shaping the political landscape in the province?
Yeah, good afternoon to you, and good afternoon to the viewers of Newzroom Afrika. Yeah, I think firstly we need to congratulate Thami Ntuli from the IFP, who has been duly elected as a new Premier of the province. And I think it's good that now we've got a Premier, someone who can drive this province moving forward. But I think we can't lose sight over the fact that we have the majority in the opposition bench, which is really a challenge when it comes to democracy, because we believe, it's always a belief that the majority must rule. Now, in forming such coalition arrangements, I think we need to be careful not to have a majority screaming on the side, because it's a risk of a disaster moving forward. I think the gap of 45% and 18% is still huge. With the seats of 80 in the legislature, having 37 seats and being opposition is also a challenge on its own. One don't believe that this would be a stable government. And you know, even when there was a vote yesterday, you could see that no one was comfortable, no one knew what's going to happen because one of votes difference. So I think there's an issue of stability, and I think this province needs a stable government. It's not enough to say you have done an election of a premier, the speaker, and deputy speaker. That's not really enough. And truth of the matter is, we may have different views whether we want MK or not, but bottom line is MK have a majority, and I think leaders in the province should have really considered the fact that MK is the majority, and we're hoping that MK can really come on board and really engage with leaders and create a stable government, because currently I think we are led by ANC and DA agreement, of which everyone else is just tapping on that agreement, because you can see from national, it was just a matter of DA and the ANC reaching a point to say they agree to work together, and they call their coalition NGU. There is no GNU, actually. You can't have GNU that exclude other parties. So clearly, this is just a DA and the ANC agreement, and everyone tapping along. And you are, unfortunately, KZN, we have MK being a majority, and I think they should sit down and engage and form that government with MK, unfortunately.
So let's speak to this dynamic that you've just highlighted now. Yes, the election saw a coalition of the ANC, IFP, DA and NFP really come together to secure what appears to be a majority. What are your thoughts on this coalition and its potential impact on the governance in the province? You've been speaking a lot about the MK party, and while they didn't garner an outright majority, you see them as appropriate to lead the province.
Not really. The point is, whether we disagree with the policies, or I don't even know their policies anyway. I don't even think even themselves they know what MK stands for. But I think voters by majority did vote for MK. That's a fact. You know, we can question how they voted MK. As ActionSA, for example, we had a strong manifesto. We have a strong values, but we didn't get a seat. We must accept that. We must accept this. We must move forward. But bottom line is, the majority in democracy must lead. So currently, we have a situation where even in committees, it won't be stable, Ntantla. Look how you form committees. The MK will be a majority in those portfolio committees. So bottom line is, you can't have a stable government when, for example, if two members are not available from the ruling coalition, it means you can't make decisions. That's really unstable on its own. So because even in committees, for example, NFP can't be in all committees. NFP can only serve in one or two committees, they have one member. Now, how then you form a stable government when portfolio committees will have a majority of MK? That's a reality you must face. Hence, I'm saying, unfortunately, like it or not, MK is a majority in this legislature, and it won't be a stable government. And you can have a premier today, but who knows? Maybe 2 months down the line, MK and the ANC will find each other, then you're going to have a new government anyway. Hence, I'm saying, unfortunately, we find ourselves in a space where we must have government, but this government is actually informed by decisions made by the DA and the ANC, because everyone else, IFP, NFP, anyway, you can even see the agreement is signed by the DA and the ANC, not IFP, not NFP. So they're just tapping along that now a GNU. There is no GNU which is signed by two parties. Not other parties have signed. So clearly, there was an agreement by the DA and ANC long ago. Even you can see it was way before election that they were able to work together. So end of the day, I think ActionSA is for that reason we said we can't be part of this MPC anymore, because we've realized that we have been used by the DA having their own agendas. But coming back to the province, the truth of the matter is there is no stability when you've got one vote difference, and this is a minority government, because a stable government must always involve the majority party.
Yeah.
So in this case, MK is a majority party. So we don't know what they stand for, but they are majority, unfortunately.
Mr. Mncwango, before we let you go, during the election, there were concerns about the integrity of the secret ballot when you look at yesterday's proceedings. How important is transparency in your view in such elections, and what measures can be taken to ensure trust in the process?
Look, I think we need transparency throughout. And I was disappointed with Judge Zondo, honestly, when he was even trying to have secrecy in terms of the processes. Even the IEC, for example, when 26 parties asked for a recount, I don't understand why it was difficult for IEC. You still have a few days left before the cutoff of 14 days. Even the declaration of results allow 7 days. I don't understand why IEC couldn't be transparent and say, okay, fine, you are demanding a recount, we have nothing to hide, let's do a recount. So I don't understand what this secret is all about, because it actually creates questions on our democracy. And I think moving forward, IEC must learn from these mistakes they've done this year. And I think a lot of loopholes on the IEC. It was more like the running election for the first time, although it was really a seventh parliament you're talking about now. So I think moving forward, even our courts need to help us in ensuring that we strengthen our democracy. When you say the ballot is secret, it must be secret, but also after that, there must be transparency, how you count those votes. And this thing happening right now leaves a lot of questions and answers. And I think it was unfortunate again, where members of parliament have to question Judge Zondo, asking to observe the process. I don't understand why he was even thinking it's within the democratic principles to hide in terms of how people have voted. Yeah. And it's just bizarre, really honestly, to see what's happening in our country.
Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Mncwango, and really sharing your insights on Thami Ntuli's election as KwaZulu-Natal Premier, but also ActionSA's perspective on the new administration. He's been giving us their point of view in regards to these current developments.